What is up, guys? Today we're going to be checking out 6 of my most underrated champions right now, plus 2 bonus ones at the end. It's been about a month, I think, since I did one of these, and I deliberately put them together with champions that aren't played very much or known about, but are still really strong. This is together with pro guides who helped to edit this video, so thank you to them. You can check out my in-depth Ezreal guide, plus a bunch of others on their site. The link is down below. So let's kick this straight off with Sion, one that I mention off and on, but it isn't just going to be top Sion, it's for top support and even a little bit of jungle. Now all of them do kind of similar things really, the same kind of job anyway. They have to be tanky, absorb damage, do a little bit of damage, crowd control priority targets, and survive for as long as you can. Support Sion has been a bit of a sleeper pick actually for a while now in Korea and a few other regions, has had the highest win rate of any support for about a month, though it isn't very popular. He's very well rounded as a champion, which is why he's so good as a support. Like, he's going to do more damage than other tank support, has a similar amount or even maybe more crowd control, has good engage and decent utility in a fight. He's a really good answer to immobile AD carries like Ashe or Misfortune, which are super popular now, or even squishy mages like Zyra. He can just ult them, engage and kill them. You're actually a very good kill lane when he decides to finally charge in. You have good disruption in fights though as well. Like, you're not only tanky, but you have these knockups and you kind of just let your AD carry kite more easily. You're going to have good roaming ganks wherever you play him. Top lane, you have like one of the best pure tanks, I guess, there, and one of the best engages as well if you actually manage to hit it. In the jungle, you'll be building Cinderhulk, so you get this bonus percentage health from all your other items as well. And the meta is really shifting to more like carry picks, but he can absorb damage from them better than most right now. It isn't just absorbing either. This is something that's kind of changing right in the past few weeks. You have to stop them doing damage in the first place. You can't just let them stand there and hit you. Honestly, I think Sion is a very good carry kind of tank. High impact tank at least anyway, whether you're going to play him top lane, support, or in the jungle. Next up is another tank, but this time we're really just looking in the jungle though with Sejuani. Probably one of the best engage ultimates in the entire game. Like, out of anyone, you can catch people with their pants down from a really long range. You have really good ganks, damage as well, crowd control. You're a Cinderhulk user, which was buffed to give even more health from the other items as well. And you kind of like had a decent clear speed actually. You can kind of hold your own if you ever find someone alone. You're very, very similar to Volleybet actually, who we kind of know is one of the best right now. Actually, Volley is kind of like the single target version of Sedge. He's better at dueling people with his single target damage, engage, and kind of passive, I guess. But Sedge is just as tanky, crowd control lockdown to everyone, AoE damage, and slow. Sedge is like more of a team fight or a team pick jungler. Volley is just more of a solo carry. So anyway, she's one of the best tanks right now in the jungle, provides that kind of frontline protection while still being a threat and having that good engage. She kind of ticks all the boxes here, honestly. Anyone can be a tank, but the best have ways to survive, stop them doing damage, and pressure the enemy AD carry. Mid-game, they are going to struggle to kill you. So I have one more jungler to talk about, so we're going to stick with the jungle for this next one as well, but pretty much the complete opposite here. Jack's top is already doing pretty well. New Triforce, Wit's End, Gunblade, all of these items are in good spots right now and are good on Jax. Jungle Jax has been creeping around for a little while. I've actually played him a lot. I kind of find him quite fun, but I think the new Triforce really pushed him to the next kind of tier. His damage really comes from two things: his burst from abilities and sustained damage from the third hit on his ultimate. The Blood Razor is great anyway because we get attack speed, which uses our passive and ultimate damage, and the percentage damage, which adds up with how often we're going to be attacking. Then we throw in the new Triforce, right? Even more attack speed, plus the Sheen for burst, Phage to chase people, and honestly we use every stat on it, which is great and kind of rare as well. Gunblade is actually also super good, like adds more damage, a lot of burst, sustain, plus a way to catch people, and I honestly think these 3 items are just way too effective on Jax right now, which turns him into like a mid to late game powerhouse. He's kind of like the last of the true late game carry junglers right now that are really good. Like, still reaches a point where he just takes over the game completely and cannot be stopped. The difference between him and other late game junglers, like why he is more viable, is because he can still gank early and have early pressure. He can help his team. While yes, he is better late game, his stun, leap, and damage can still do a lot. Right, next up is Kog'Maw. Some of you might think he's pretty good, but most probably won't realize just how strong he is right now. He's very similar to Kayle actually. Kayle mostly depends on the items she uses for how strong she is. So right now, Rage Blade, Runins, Wit's End, Blade the Ring King are a really, really deadly combo, especially with further a battle for Kog. The reason I'm mentioning him now is because the more we see this kind of Korean Ghostblade build nerfed, the better he's going to be. They are aimed at snowballing and winning early and early damage, where Kog is really kind of at his weakest. Infinity Edge builds, even Essence Reaver builds take more time to ramp up and actually really need like 2 items before they are fully effective, and that is fine for Kog. That gives gives him more time to get his items. You're going to be shredding tanks of course because you're Kog'Maw, but with this kind of on hit stuff, he will rip through bruisers as well, and basically you're kind of like a time bomb. If they don't end the game early enough, then you are always going to have a chance to carry, and the game has shifted to a bit later, like towers have more defense now, death timers are lower. A lot of games are now requiring Baron or Elder Drake to win, right? And that is time for Kog'Maw to scale up. He isn't as easy though to play as others, I will admit that. He's a bit more team reliant and requires some basic positioning, but honestly just pressing W and right clicking is pretty straightforward, so you can focus on those other things a little bit more. If you actually lose as a Kog'Maw, most of the time it's in pre-25 minute games that just kind of snowball out of control, and that shouldn't really happen. Your lane phase isn't that bad, you can win trades, you can farm up, and even once you get a Rage Blade, just one item, it's a big spike in power, even bigger with Runins too. I know that he is a bit more known than some of the others here, but he's seriously so good right now, and people definitely underestimate how hard he can carry. Even with a bad team, even at lower elo, you can still carry with your damage. Now Cassiopeia is one that I mentioned a few times a little bit recently, but she is definitely a monster right now, and I just kind of wanted to include her before people realize properly. The first thing is she is amazing versus a Vlad, Swain, Azir, and Ryze. All popular, and Cassio just outranges, pokes, and spanks them early. This is where I kind of think she'll come back up. She did get these buffs a few patches ago, which were very nice. Bigger cast range on her Q, move speed doesn't decay as fast, and the W grounding thing, like the cooldown is down early, the range is up, and it no longer stops when it hits a wall. The Q change is a really nice way to get in and out of trades easier now, plus a little bit more poke or kind of some farm safety, I guess. The thing is, she just works really well in season 6 as a whole anyway. Like Deathfire Touch, she's really good with that. Her E is going to apply it constantly, plus the poison does as well. Item wise, we have Morello, which is a lot of AP and cooldown reduction. Abyssal, more deadly up close, which is what she wants. Magic resist, MR shred as well, and cooldown reduction. Archangels, you get the tier to spam spells, and you have a shield. The Rylai's is going to be slow to kite, and you're just impossible to escape. All of these things really help her do what she wants to do. She has a lot of damage, and she will spam and get a good teamfight ultimate as well. The meta is into more control mages now, which we've just said she's really good against, and actually like you're just as good if not better top lane right now. You're decent at punishing this kind of bruiser meta. So the last of my actual ones before we get into our bonus picks is Vel Koz. I know that I have mentioned him a few times in these videos a while ago, but this is now after his rework and this buff and kind of resurgence back up. The first thing is he is weak to assassins or burst mages, so Fizz, Ahri, etc. He's not going to have a fun time against him, but thankfully they're kind of falling out of favor a little bit. The good thing is against low range or sustained damage like a Ryze, Morgana, Azir, or Swain, he's very good against them. You have really long range poke combined with burst, kind of like a Lux but with less utility and more damage. You can play this as a support or a mid laner right now. I think both are pretty good honestly, but you kind of have two different styles working right now. You have this more sustained pokey tanky style, I guess, like Rylai's, Liandry's. You have this slow and burn poke, and you have the kind of burst, and a little bit more burst like Morello, Luden's, Deathcap, and Void. Normally the poke is for supports and the burst is kind of for mid lane because you have a bit more damage, a bit more disposable income to get that burst. The good thing right now is there are a lot of lower health targets running around, an Ashe or an Irelia. Like it takes one pick to blow them up and snowball the game. Honestly, I think probably he is one of the most irritating picks to play against. Very good at this control kind of play style, and if they are good then you can't really do much. What I mean is, like, if you run at him, okay, he's just going to knock you up, WQ, ult, and you're dead. If you're lucky, he'll just knock you up and leave you alone, I guess. He's just so hard to actually get onto and engage a fight onto. If he gets ahead, then he'll likely crush any team fight with his ultimate, and that is hard, especially at lower elo, to play around. I don't think he's like the very top tier of mid laners right now, but he's definitely a good solo carry champion for this kind of meta. So just before we end this video, I want to mention two who I'm not really sure if they count as underrated enough to put them with the other 6. Gangplank, in my opinion, is the best champion once mastered. Hard, but so strong and effective. You can literally carry the worst teams with triple barrels in team fights, but you're only as good as you are with him. He's rarely played now, like I barely see him honestly. He seems to kind of fallen out of favor, and I'm not too sure why, but Triforce change didn't really kill him, and he's still very good. The last one is Scana, one that I talk about a lot, so I didn't want to properly get into him and repeat myself, but he's rarely played, very good, and Warrior Triforce is so broken on him. I know I've said this a lot, even Foxshop has said this a lot as well, but I refuse to give up and stop saying this until everyone realizes just how good he is. Your Q has a 45% AD ratio, plus another 45% for the bonus damage, which is insane, considering you spam it. This is literally just way too much damage. He's basically free elo at the moment. Utility with speed, shield, and ultimate hook. Honestly, I just think he's one of the best junglers you can play. Anyway, thank you again to Pro Guys for helping me to edit this video. Remember to like, subscribe, comment, and share. But for now, we're going to go to the robots.